When working in SOLIDWORKS PDM, one of the components that we follow are the versions. So every time we check in and check out a file, we create another version inside of SOLIDWORKS. There's also revisions as well. Going through the workflows, we can manage changing things that have major changes. So let's say we did incremental changes on an assembly, but now we're ready to release it to the shop. We can then do a revision change. But going back and forth through the history, we need to use the get version or get latest version features to see this. So let's jump into assembly and see what I'm talking about. So in this assembly here, you see I've got a combination of parts and drawing files that are referenced to this assembly and its components. I'm going to go ahead and check out just the top level. All right. And the part I'm going to focus on is this motor here. So let's say that I've got a few different versions of this motor, maybe for some different powers or usages and outputs, maybe different ratios, things like that. And I've denoted that by changing the color of the label around the motor. All right, so let's take a look at how to change through the different versions of this part. So I'm going to go over to the task pane here. If I select the part, it highlights it in the feature tree on both sides, which is pretty handy. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to go to get version. So right now we have the latest version. So if I hit get latest version, it just recycles and gives me what I have already. But if I go to get, I can look back through the various versions that were saved. And if you add comments, it can be helpful. So the first one has a red label. The second one has a blue label. The third iteration here has a green label. So let's go to the blue labeled version and update. So you can see here we've updated the part. We've got a different version of it. And we can go ahead and save that in our assembly. And now that'll be here when we come back. And we can also see that it's version 3. If we wanted to change that again, we can just go to get, turn on the red label version, hit OK. And you can see it changes our version here. And we've got the red label version out here. Now, these changes might be more drastic than just something like an appearance changing. It could be anything that you change inside of a SOLIDWORKS part or assembly file. So you don't want to just switch out versions, willy-nilly. You want to pay attention to what you're doing, follow your workflow and your design flow, and drop these in, with some expected results in mind that make sense. So pretty easy to get the latest versions. And then if we go ahead and check this whole thing again, let's see, changed motor. We now have a new version of this with the 2.4 selected for the version of the motor. So pretty simple, pretty powerful.